So I'll bring those tomorrow. Tomorrow's.
You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this.
Good evening and welcome to San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. Joining us tonight is Rafa. How are you?
Pretty good. Just ready to pull the double duty for tonight.
Royce will also be joining us. He's running a little bit later. Well, we're actually getting started a little bit early. There was some breaking news this afternoon. And since we didn't have the show on Wednesday, just because for me, this week's been extremely busy. One, dealing with allergies. That's kind of slowed me down. And let's just say I didn't sound as good as I sound now. And I don't normally sound good to begin with. So I didn't want to cough along up on here. And then number two, like I said, with work, it was super busy. So unfortunately, Rafa has been pulling double duty with the 50-50 podcast and SA Soccer Roundtable on the 50-50 podcast, talking about the playoffs, high school playoffs, and I guess state tournament now, right? For that here. And Rafa, why don't you break the news here?
Yeah, some breaking news just about maybe 2 hours ago, a little over 2 hours ago. History was made. The Bernie Greyhounds pulled off a big win and now are the back-to-back Class 4A boys state soccer champs. So congrats to Coach Strong and the boys accomplishing, back-to-back titles. It was a tough game for them because they went up against a really good Salina team, and it's an up and coming program, and they were great game, and they were down early, but they came back and then ended up winning off a PK from a foul that left Salina, with a man down, and they took care of business, and they sealed the deal, and now they're bringing back the title back to here to the San Antonio area. So congratulations, and there's the MVP there. Keeper played a great game.
Huge game, right?
Yeah.
He was so impressive.
Yeah, so just like I said, overall the whole team, did they did what they needed to do. They accomplished a lot. There was a goal. I guess we had interviewed Coach Strong a few weeks ago, and they just went in with a kind of like, hey, we're the champs. The pressure isn't on us. They have to beat us. We don't have to. We've been there, done that, and it worked. and now they're coming back with another trophy, and we just can't be more proud. To bring a soccer title here. I know from the last few games, the Dallas area teams have been dominating and so forth. And also, I'm gonna congratulate also the Bernie girls and the Bernie champion girls too. A great season for both of them too. They're both regional champions, and to get to this far, it takes a lot. So congrats to them. And like I said, we just can't be more proud of our soccer programs in our area. And hopefully next year, which we'll talk about hopefully soon, about like realignment and so forth, how it's going to shape up and who's going to be the favorites going into next year. But once again, congrats to Brady Greyhounds, the boys, bringing back-to-back titles to San Antonio, and hopefully they'll get some honor. I think they did it last year. I think SAFC didn't honor them at halftime and so forth. So hopefully they get the same honor. And Coach Strong said, hey, send us some championship T-shirts. So I'm proud.
And the photos that we used were from the social media feed of Bernie High School that they pictured the posted the pictures. Unfortunately, it doesn't give who took the pictures here. But to give that photographer credit. But thank you to Bernie High School, for posting the pictures. It's a great accomplishment. For San Antonio area to have a back-to-back state champions. Well done for that here. Royce, welcome to the show. Sorry we started a little bit early, but with the breaking news for the high school, we wanted to get Rafa on to have his spill. I know we're going to be mainly SAFC tonight here, but obviously state champs is a worthy way to start the show.
For sure. You get I just came from my front and backyard raking leaves and getting all the oak clusters off my yard. So luckily you can't smell through the camera because it's bad. Yeah, awful.
There's a reason. Well, besides work, there's another reason why, why we didn't have a show is I was.
Yeah, you could see I had to wear a mask obviously because I am allergic to oak. You could see mask line, face shield line. It's fun. We're having fun. It's great. I love having two enormous over 36-inch oak trees in my front and backyard that I have to pick everything up all the time. It's great. I love it. It's the best.
So we'll kind of do a recap on the last week's game against Orange County. Talk a little bit about the lineup. We'll go over some roster news that took place. There was a player out and a player in, and not the player that we thought that might be coming in as of yet. There was the have to bring it up, the San Antonio draw Texas, and there's one that's making the rounds, especially since it's Copa Tejas, to kind of highlight that. We'll look at and then hopefully by that point we'll have Christian Canales from Seriously Loco on to talk about the first Copa Tejas match in either USL or MLS this year. San Antonio, El Paso. So it'll be a jam-packed show here. So let's get started here. Looking at the lineup here, some changes on it here. During the broadcast, they mentioned that Abu was on the bench. Didn't start for the he missed during the week for personal reasons, they said. He did come on in the second half where Kamiri got subbed off and then Abu came in. So Royce, your thoughts on the lineup with Manley playing outside the three center back spots and playing more on the outside?
It's very interesting. Obviously, what we've seen is a lot of forward wing play, and on both sides early in the season. And this kind of felt like last season where you had Maloney on the right, and he kind of stayed home a lot, and the left wing would go up, whether that was PC or whether that was last season would be Sam Gleedle. This season, we've had our wingers go up a lot and the midfielders really stay home a lot. Well, with Manley kind of staying back on the right, that kind of afforded Maloney a chance to get forward. PC kind of stayed back. And it was very interesting, the dynamic. At the same time, that pretty much puts four center backs on the field at the same time, which is interesting. But it proved to be very defensively stout. They gave up quite a few chances, and it was through long balls. There wasn't a lot of build-up play by OC. It was a lot of get it to the halfway line, go just past the halfway line, and then look for a line-splitting pass from there. It wasn't a lot of intricate play on the side. And they created a lot of decent chances that way, but they didn't put one in the net, and it was because SAFC kind of let them do that. I don't know whether they let them do that, but those are the chances they gave up, and they decided that's a better chance to give up than having them, pass play in. So kind of like Tampa Bay did in the final. Tampa Bay didn't really defend OC. They were just kind of like, oh, they're going to sit back. We don't have to worry about defending, to their detriment. But that's kind of what seemed like SAFC's plan was to have all six back, the midfielders and the defenders kind of back, and then let let the 2 or 3 offensive players try to make a chance. So that's kind of what it seems like they try to do. Rafa, how did you feel about that lineup?
It was an interesting lineup, especially seeing Manley on the wing. But like I said, if you play like a four flat back 4 defense, he would be up. So he's just pushing up, but he's got the speed, he's got the skills, and I think he's played a few times up there when he was with our RGV in that area. So just like I said, it was an interesting lineup, but I was surprised with Kamiri starting, but hey, it's great to have him back there because he's such an imposing force as far as defensive wise, and I think we needed some size because I know OC had some size, up front, so we needed to defend that. So it was a great lineup, and I think Marciano had a great game plan going into this, and I think he took a page from that championship game and learned from what the mistakes they made from that, and also what the mistakes that Tampa Bay did, and it came out to a positive result.
In the injury report for that game, Manneh obviously was out with the shoulder for that here. David Lorera was questionable, Patino questionable, and Diaf was questionable. And I think minus 1 person, that is the same injury report for this week when we get to El Paso as well. But looking at the highlights, and this is courtesy of USL Championship via YouTube here.
As we are set to kick things off here at Championship Soccer Stadium.
Looking at the keys, just be aware from an Orange County point of view, the direct and quick counter-attacks from
You got to switch the view, Harry.
Very quick and
he said, if he practices it,
we'll start that over here again. I'm like, yeah, the game's playing.
Things off here at Championship Soccer Stadium.
Looking at the keys, just be aware from an Orange County point of view, the direct and quick counter-attacks from San Antonio, something this team in white are famed for. Very quick in transition.
And he said, if he practices it, it's when he's not looking, because he's never seen something like that from Kobe Henry in any training session. Over the top here to Torres. Kubo cuts it back. Chance here. Torres is denied by 4.
More from him. He hasn't inspired yet.
Thoughts on this play there, Royce or Rafa?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is that was kind of, it seemed like their plan was to get to the end line. We kind of had kind of a high line and a high press in the back, and they were just trying to beat that, beat the back line. That's what they're trying to do. Have a line splitting pass from about halfway, and that's what they constantly did. It was very good by Kamiri to kind of force him away, or I'm sorry, that was Fabian to force him away. Kamiri came in with a tackle to put more pressure, and the shot was on goal to the shooters.
Kubo Torres.
Yeah, it was good to put that on net, but it was right in the middle of the net. Fairly simple, straightforward for Far to save.
So, and this is the save, that one goal, save of the week here.
Yeah, and Far was very mad because Seven Alaski, who had quite a few chances in this match, they just left him with all the space in the world. There's no midfielders anywhere around him, so he took the shot he wanted, and it was a knuckleball, and that can go anywhere. That was a very difficult shot to save, and it was a very good save by Far.
Well, so if you right there, Kamiri has to make a choice here. If he steps up, there's a through ball right there, and there's a goal.
Yeah, and
he's kind of fortunate that he took, made him force the shot because, I think that was a more difficult to make shot from there. But if he comes up, that passes through, I think that's a goal in for OC.
Well, there's a couple things. Number one, he's offside right now.
Yeah.
The striker that's up, he's offside.
He runs.
What would happen a lot last season is that you would get one of those center backs would run up and put pressure, and that would leave space, and that's how people would score on us all the time. There you saw all 3 stay stationary with an offside trap. That's how the back line evolved at the end of last season, and it seems like they're getting that already in the beginning of this season, which looks great because it seems like they don't have to go through those growing pains that they did all last season to finally get to that point. It seems like they're already at that point, which is great.
Is this possibly, because I think that's PC, if memory serves me right here, over here. If
Correct.
We had a Boo in instead of Manley, you think a Boo's more center kind of covering that, or you
No,
think this is
Manley's
kind
on
of
the
a
right.
weak
Manley's a right winger. You mean
Right
Maloney?
there.
Here's the shot.
or
You'd
so
be-
Maloney? Okay, yeah, Maloney.
He'd be more of the holding mid, and I think he would have been there. I don't think you don't see
Ilosky, he runs,
move
he runs.
push up too
Nobody
much because
comes
he's
towards
aware of
him.
what
It's just
a
an
back
added bonus to already have him at a point where he can be trusted and he can perform at a high level. Great ball through, and here's Ilosky. Save made by far. Kuning gets slotted in through 3 defenders.
save. Lovely ball through from Kuning. Goes with that magic left foot of it. I think maybe the defender got a little piece of that and just maybe slowed it down. Have a look here. Yeah, I think it just sort of hits a leg on the way through. And just right now, Richard Chaplow is just thinking, as you said.
So at this, at least for the first 60 minutes, OC seems to have been in control, and then
It was
time.
It was fairly even. San Antonio had a few chances as well. They just couldn't put them away. They obviously don't have film, so the highlights show that. But San Antonio had a few really good chances that they just didn't put away. There were a few shots that were pretty straightforward shots that should have been put on net, and they weren't. They were lasered high. There were 2 or 3 I can think of. But this one, what happens, and this is what SAFC will do on you when you're sleeping, is they'll have a center back come and they'll get in on the action and on the press, and that's exactly what Taintor does. That's what Taintor did last season, and at the same time, Ford did that as well. Ford got in on the press as well. To devastating effect a lot last season.
It's Elliot Collier.
So obviously, Elliot and Taintor are hunting buddies there, doing the crossbow. So,
Have a look. The ball's going to get played in here.
But all credit of that goal goes to Tanner, though, right?
Do not. I will say, do not sleep on that finish, because that is a tough
from the
finish.
angle.
That is a. I'm not going to say a world class finish, but that is not a lot of people, not a lot of human beings on this earth can make that finish. And Collier did. Kicks it off the post, off the bounce, a gorgeous finish. But yes, a lot of that credit has to do with Taintor. I'd say 75-25, but Taintor with the press, he pressed 2 players in the mistakes, and then with the cross, and Collier is a pro enough to finish that. That's just a great play by 2 players that took over the game and basically won the match right there.
Yeah, I don't think there's really much more left on the highlights here. Oh no, they had the goal or shot right at the end of the match here.
Yeah, at the very end. Yeah, this is when OC took out pretty much all their defense. They put in a forward. Yeah, and that was a hell of a save. And that the save he won the week on right there.
I thought it was the other one.
I thought it was that one.
They had like 3 of them that you could have put up there.
That's 100% correct. That's why he was on the team of the week, is because he made saves that all those saves could have been save of the week. Yeah, and that's
necessarily
it.
Of any
A repeat of the championship game, except for that he let in, though. But
pretty much.
And then there's PC there sporting,
and then
the boys.
What I loved is the picture of this here. I think was it you that put out Mo, or who was it that put out Mo and his hey, I'm close but not that close?
Are those SAFC specially made Speedos? I probably need a pair for those for the summer.
That's the visual we don't need, Rafa. So, but no, like I said here, great team win. I know that SAFC had circled that game in a way, just because they did lose in the.
Sorry, I didn't get the comment on that because I got a podcast intruder here. But those were the PC. I messaged him and asked him, dude, do they sell those shorts in the team store? He said no, those were Gonzalo Dorenzo's former shorts. I'm joking. That's a joke. Pretty funny on PC. But yeah, no, I made the comment on, or there were a few people that made the comment on Mo that was like, I love you guys, but no.
And of course, team of the week, Jordan Farr, Mitchell Tanner, for that here. Well done to both for that here. And Jordan Farr, I think it was released this afternoon, won the save of the week as well for back-to-back, since that seems to be a theme with the Burning Greyhounds, and Jordan Farr as save of the week for that here. So, thoughts on the Orange County match? Tough place tough place to play. Orange County is a solid team. A gutty win, in my opinion. Still a little bit shorthanded on the bench for that here, but you can with Kamiri coming back, it adds another weapon that we can use for depth there. But stat wise, 60-40 possession. Attack, we had 13 shots, they had 19. We had 4 on target, they had 6. We did have 21 fouls, they had 15. We had 4 cards, or we had 20 fouls, 4 cards, they had 17 and 2. I thought it was a typical San Antonio FC match where they had opportunities to put more on the board. To give credit to Orange County, I think they took their best shot. Had some clear shots, as we saw on the preview. But the defense of San Antonio, I think, is just that step above. Even from, I hate to say it, even from last year, where you've got a little bit more depth with the 3 on the back here. Your thoughts, Rafa, on the Orange County side?
This is a good revenge game, to get a win on the road after that, disappointing loss against Phoenix. But I know, the circumstances to that. But to bounce back and knock, the USL champs, it's a good confidence booster going into this week. And and that's the thing. This is our 3rd road win. Mm-hmm. And that's a big difference from last year. We struggled on the road this year.
Well, we started out slow on the road. Towards the end of the year, we were much better.
But to have a strong start on the road, and normally we have trouble, on there, especially on those type of games. But it just shows the grit on this team. I think they have a different, like I said, the attitude is, they're playing for each other. That's what I'm seeing. It's not just for one. And we're still missing other bits and pieces on the team, but that's the scary part. Is once we, like Royce mentioned, once we're healthy, the USL better look out for us, because we could start dominating some games. Especially with the depth that now we get the depth that we need and so forth. And then kudos to our defense. They shut down Cubo Torres, and he had a couple good shots off, but we kind of contained him. And then they didn't, our defense didn't buckle or were intimidated by him. And Jordan ends up getting, save of the week and on the team of the week. And, he gets that clean sheet. So kudos to their defense back there, the back 3.
Yeah, for sure. I've pretty much everything Rafa said. Just get healthy and watch out. It's amazing what has happened. It seems like SAFC kind of experimented with re-signing players, and at the same time re-signing players to multi-year deals, and it's kind of seems like it's
paying
off pretty well. Gamez with a very good point at the end of the match. The mystery, not a red card, kick to the face, which is the first I've ever heard of. That Taintor toward the end of the match got absolutely lit up in the face with the flying boot, and nope, just a yellow card for some reason, which in every other league, every other time, that's a straight red card, my friend. You are taking an early shower, and somehow that was a yellow card, which is it because he didn't break his nose? Oh, he just slightly kicked him in the face. That's only a yellow. No, that's dangerous play. He could have been blinded. Like I'm not even going to go with the full array. I'm not going to speak in.
I'm surprised he doesn't have concussion. That's
yeah. That could have happened. He could have been blinded. There's a lot of things that could have happened there. That's why that's a red card foul. If you kick somebody in the face, yellow card. No sense. 0 sense. And that ref had a very tough time establishing what a foul was in that match.
He was
It seemed
inconsistent.
that's what I mean. He was inconsistent. He would let something go and then whistle the exact same thing 2 minutes later. He would whistle something and then the next play let the same thing go. He was having a very tough time establishing. He wanted to set himself in the match, but he didn't want to do it consistently, and that's a problem. You need to be consistent as a ref. Failed to do that. And then the one moment in the match that was very obvious what he needed to do, he didn't do it. So what are you going to do? Pro referees, at least they're consistent, right?
There's one person that I want to call out for this match here, and that's Justin Dillon. And the last time that he visited Orange County, things didn't go his way. But so far on the year, he's 4-0. We're 4-0 when he starts. He has been a pivotal piece. For me, I was kind of hesitant on number one, would they bring him back, and if they did, what he would bring back. But I have to give it to Justin. He's came in. He's been a pivotal part of the team here. And like I said, the record was him and PC. PC's 3-0, and with Justin Dillon's 4-0. I think that says a lot because our early losses was to Phoenix is when we did not have him up top. Without him and PC. We all know PC is a key for the midfield. But to me, I think we're starting to see just how beneficial Justin is up top and all the hard work that he puts in that maybe doesn't get on the score sheet or maybe most fans don't realize. But I want to give a kudos to Justin. I know the season ended last year, unfortunately on his missed PK. But like I said, he's rebounded well. And like I said here, to me, he's one of the MVPs of the team so far early on in the year. So any thoughts that you have on that comment? And that's kind of out of the blue, but like I said here, to me, it kind of goes full circle, from last year to this year, on Justin's season so far.
I'll be 100% honest. That's not really random. That's something we've been talking about this entire season is holy crap. Where did Justin Dillon come from? Because this isn't I'll be honest, this is not the Justin Dillon we saw last season. Right. Last season, it seemed like he was having some issues, adjusting, getting used to the team, getting integrated with the team. He was low on confidence, a lot of missed chances. And then he kind of started putting it together toward the end of the season. And it just seems like the players that they brought back, he is so comfortable with. It's what it seems like. Obviously, it would be good to interview and actually ask the man these questions. But this is what it seems like from a fan's perspective. That's kind of why we do this podcast. We're not reporters. We're not. Rafa's a professional. I'm not a professional. I do other things. I do roads. I do streets. I do drainage. I don't do sports. I love sports though. But from a fan's perspective, it's a totally different guy, and he's a revelation. And I'm so happy he's on our team. It's the work rate that he has been putting in week after week. He seems so much happier. It's crazy. It's crazy from last year to this year, and it's great to see him blossom. It's awesome.
Any thoughts on that, Rafa, before we go to player transactions?
I think one thing I noticed from this year, I remember he was out last year in the beginning of the year, and it took him a while to kind of get it going. And then he finished, somewhat strong. I know he had the PK at the end, but I think this year you can tell there's more pep in his step. I think he might have lost some weight. I think he gained some more speed. But the thing is, he's just a physical presence that he does attract a lot of attention and even if he's not scoring, he's giving assists, and that's the big thing with being a forward. You got to learn how to give assists, and he's doing that. Because it hurt not having him against Phoenix, because I think that game, if he plays that game, I think it's a different result.
It's a different game, yeah.
It's a different, and I think Phoenix would have had trouble containing him. So, we'll see them again in a few weeks, but so I'm glad that he's back, and I think he realizes his role. And, just imagine with him, if, like I said, we do see him with him and Patino up front, it's a good 1-2 punch, that we're going to have, and kind of pick your poison when that comes around. But the thing is, he's been picking up the slack, for Patino, and it was because the roles were reversed last year too. So this year he's doing the same, and then he's stepping it up. So we couldn't ask more from what he's doing right now.
So player news. First one that we're gonna do is Manneh. Was announced on April 13th that San Antonio FC had bought out Kekuta Manneh's contract. Jonathan Chuck with the striker Texas reached out to him, as far as, to see what his thoughts were for Manneh's, because SAFC just released a, 2-sentence statement saying, no, I'm on. Am I mute? Oh, no. Oh, sorry.
No, I was on mute. I was agreeing with you that
Oh.
it was literally a 2-sentence statement. It was basically we released them effective immediately. Wish them the best. That was it.
And then Jonathan, or the striker Texas, on the article from Jonathan, basically reached out to him, said, quote, that's really a good question, but you're asking the wrong person. I'm just doing my rehabilitation because remember he's out with a shoulder surgery. Not sure what's going on. You should ask the club. So once again, not a lot of information. Obviously, SAFC isn't going to comment much further anymore, or if they do, it'd be a first. So Manneh is out. Royce, you have been talking about Manneh being the second half super adjustment, and we didn't get him into the second half. So your thoughts on him unfortunately being released?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's gonna kind of suck. I know. I was talking him up. I was hyping him up. I was so excited to see him on the field, and then shoulder injury. He's out for at least half the season. On one hand, I'm very disappointed that we won't get to see him on the field for the team, and I'm sure he's scorned enough to where, if they're gonna in the future, it's a bridge is pretty much burnt. But at the same time, you kind of understand from the club's perspective, maybe there's another addition that may have surprisingly just become available that they may try to go after, and they need some wage as well as some roster space. But yeah, I mean, Manneh's out until at least July. That's kind of long. You understand from the club perspective. You understand from the player's perspective too. What's he supposed to do? He's rehabbing. He's injured. It is what it is. Like, not his fault. He's playing, and injuries happen. But yeah, it sucks.
It's his decision.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. What am I going to tell you? I was looking forward to it. I was hyped. I was hyped when they made the signing. It was kind of they didn't really hype it. They just kind of signed him, and I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. And then,
well, I think what ties on to it is the two big signings that San Antonio had in the off-season, Bonilla and Manneh, are already gone from the club, and we're week 6 on here. Both left for various reasons. One retired, one due to injury. So you can't fault San Antonio FC for going out and trying to get it. Just unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work, and that's the nature of the business. The other player that they brought on is on loan from FC Dallas, midfielder selected 15th overall in the MLS 2021 Super Draft. Nicky Hernandez. Royce, you have any information on Nikki? As far as I know, you talk with Third Degree Podcast, which is a great podcast for FC Dallas. Any thoughts from them, or that you were able to pick up on Nikki coming into town? And obviously, by the picture that they posted on the website, looks like he's been in town already for a little bit. Royce, Rafa, you want to go ahead and start with that? Your thoughts on
What's a great pickup because we needed some depth in the midfield center in the central midfield, and he's got, from what I read, he's got a great pedigree. He's a great player. They felt that moving him down to MLS Next was not a challenge for him, and this will be a challenge for him playing up here in USL. So that's a great, a great addition. Like I said, especially with some of the games we had without PC and Abu, and now we have a young player that he can develop learn from those two, but also just give us some added depth. And then I heard great things of him about playing with the North Texas Soccer Club, and I think the Feeders even mentioned something about he was a former player there. So
yeah, he has 6 goals, 5 assists, and 32 appearances with North Texas SC in USL League One. Evidently, from Coach Marcina, he is a box-to-box midfielder with an aggressive style of play on both ends of the ball, which of course fits our model. And of course, the typical, he's a terrific person with a winner's mentality, and we look forward to integrating him with his new teammates here. You back, Royce? The voice coming back from the allergies?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like an O cluster or something that just went right in my throat. And I was like, oh no, that's not a good time for that. I was about to choke on here. I talked to Third Degree about him. Their comment was pretty simply, he's an 8. So he's a box-to-box midfielder, quite physical and powerful, can burst forward and score and plays defense. So kind of sounds, and somebody that came from the exact same academy, sounds like a Weston McKennie prototype. So
not that you're comparing him to Weston McKennie yet. Let's just slow that.
Maybe he's going to be the Weston McKennie of the USL Championship. But and this is a conversation I had with a Third Degree. He sounds like the prototypical SAFC player, like the dream Alan Marcina player, and it's great to have him as depth, or whether he wins a starting job. We'll see what he wins. At the same time, I will say in February he did have a surgery for compartment syndrome in his lower legs. So this is a rehab stint as well as getting some playing time. And from what I was told from Third Degree is he's way too good for League One. He needed a better challenge. He's way too good for MLS Next. He needs to be either USL Championship or MLS. And there's a kid named Paxton Pomacall that's kind of in his way. So, yeah. And I'm sure everybody, I say that in jest, obviously, Paxton Pomacall, one of the best midfielders. You got an invader too. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. My kid did that as well. So sounds like a great signing.
Fine,
midfield depth, something that we need. Obviously, with Maloney as being the backup, PC and Mo. So that puts 4 midfielders. That's perfect. That puts us at a good number. The next thing that we need to get some depth at is a forward.
I thought he'd be more fill in for Larrera.
No, an 8. No, he's going to fill in for.
Well, just because he's a little bit more on the aggressive, the attacking side. That's where I fit. Figured him more being more offensively on that here. But I wanted to bring Christian in. From Seriously Loco here. I know he's been in the background here while we were doing the player movements, but we're finally moving on to Copa Tejas, El Paso. Thank you, Christian. Like I said here, Seriously Loco. Please check them out. They're, in my opinion, one of the top 5 podcasts in USL soccer podcasts out there. One of the best with Phil, Mika, and Christian for that here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be talking to you guys and ahead of what should be a great matchup on Saturday.
It's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna be a murder. I'm joking.
Yeah, this ain't Seriously Loco where we're all cheerleading El Paso. I'm gonna set the table here. Is
That's fair.
I listened to your show and you're like, hey, Phil had a rough voice just like the rest of us this week here. Hey, everything's all rosy. We're here to kind of go, hey, it's not so rosy in El Paso, but we'll find out tomorrow night. But I did want to get your impression here since you are an outsider here. Deshane Beckford, they had a thing of drawing Texas
Oh no.
and SAFC. I think it was SAFC. Yes, put this for the Copa Tejas logo here. For it here because that was his picture of Texas here. So your thoughts on the new Copa Tejas logo? And I'm joking, Steve and Danielle. This is not it, but come on, you can't have it on here, and speak Copa Tejas and not show this here.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm willing to give a little bit of grace. I mean, the guy's from Jamaica, but you're playing in Texas now, buddy.
That's it. He's from Jamaica. Cut him some slack, man. Come on.
The little angle towards the bottom, the little curve there, that's where Del Rio's at.
Yeah, no, Del Rio, no,
he did get the panhandle right, though. So.
And he got the valley, which that's probably as big as it needs to be. We don't need the rest of the valley, to be fair. You know what? These are the best parts of Texas. It's kind of the North Texas, and then it's San Antonio as the South, and then a little bit of Austin, kind of cut out. That Corpus. We don't need that. We're fine without that. Give that back to Mexico. We're fine.
Sorry to Shane, like I said here.
We don't need. What I'm saying is we don't need RGV. Get RGV out of here. We don't need him in our state.
When do those shirts come out?
Robert said he is the Patrick Weah of the USL. Royce.
Of course, this goes with the joke that. Oh my God. Okay. Moving on.
All right. So we're going to talk El Paso here. This would be Get to Know El Paso, a show that I try to do on Friday nights, but we're kind of, unfortunately, with it being super busy and me not feeling well, everything is kind of crammed into one. This is the starting 11 last week against Monterey Bay for that here. Christian, you guys came out with a 4-3-3 with Borelli, Fox, Yuma, Harry Brockbank in the back, Herrera, Ryan, Mares, and to me the top, Luna and Snoopy are the two forwards that I think San Antonio is going to have to really focus on, and Gomez at the top up there. One thing that kind of sticks out to me, I forgot who was the forward that went from San Antonio to El Paso?
Lucho.
Lucho. No Lucho. He wasn't even in the 18. It doesn't look like he was even in the 18 based on the subs here. So hopefully he's okay. I know he played midfield in the Open Cup game for that here, but. Is this how you kind of picture El Paso to kind of start out with for here as far as the lineup, or was this, more changes to try to figure out what's the right combination?
No, I think, to the first thing, Lucho is fine. He had some family business to attend to. That's why he wasn't available. But as far as health and everything, he's fine. So I would imagine he'd at least be in the 18 tomorrow. But yeah, as far as what we see tomorrow, for me, I think we come out just like that. I mean, we had a rough first 4 games because we were switching things around, and it was for a lot of reasons. Player availability because of international duty. A couple people had some knocks and stuff, but to come out with this lineup and come out with our first win and not a small win either. I don't think that it's a coincidence. I think that this is probably what works best, and I think that with people like Diego and Manneh on the wings, if you guys come out in a it's been a back 3, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a back 3.
Yeah, I think that Diego and Manneh playing wide is going to be a struggle, but we'll see.
Robert can confirm they indeed are. Now ask if the team they played is still in the Open Cup. That's the bigger question. Everybody wants to know. Some people are saying it was a USL Championship side that San Antonio FC is playing tomorrow night.
It is what it is. It was a bad loss, and we took it on the chin, and we're moving forward. The team can only control the competitions that they're in.
The Locomotive did what the Locomotive does, and they lost the Sac Republic. Oh wait, the player that doesn't quite play for Sac Republic anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. There you go.
Bijev is pretty good though. To give credit to Bijev, he's a hell of a
How
player.
he's not playing in the USL Championship still? What happened? He dominated that game. Good Lord, man. Unbelievable. That's a sore subject. Let's move on. I've noticed a lot that new El Paso coach can't
Hutchinson, John Hutchinson.
Thank you, Hutchinson. Thank you. I was about to say Lori. Wrong. Hutchinson did what Marcina did the first couple seasons, and he really tried to find a spot for Pirano and for Gallegos to excel, and it seemed like out by themselves on the wings, isolated. And it's exactly what Hutchinson is doing with Luna by just throwing him out there to get some space so we can dribble in and do what player makers do, which obviously Luna's a great player. And it's interesting that he's had Lucho be, in the beginning, it was a false nine. He would come back and he would help, and then you'd have the wingers go up, and that was very dangerous. Now it seems like he just has Lucho in the middle, staying in the middle. And so like he can't come and help out up front. It's kind of odd, the system that he started. And at the same time, he tried to start a back three and try to have the keeper. And this was a thing that kind of blew my mind and something I want to talk to you on. It really seemed like it could still be a thing they're trying to do, but they really try to seem like they're trying to get the sweeper keeper system going with the three in the back, with the keeper that gets involved in the play and spreads it out wide. To do that on a very, very, very narrow non-soccer stadium, on a baseball stadium that is a lot more narrow. Why? There's no point to that. To make that system work, you need width. What is the one physical thing you lack on a baseball field playing soccer? Width. I don't get it. Can you please explain how you can, or bring me inside the mind of Hutchison? Because I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can't speak for him, but if I had to make an opinion on it, I think it was probably maybe a little bit of naivety. He definitely has like a coaching pedigree, but this is his second head coaching job, first that isn't from like a two side. So first where he really has a lot of, as the manager and technical director, a lot of free reign to do what he will. And I think he came in with an idea of, this is what I want to try. And credit to him. I think that in the last two games, even in the Loyal match and the Monterrey match, it appeared that he's toned back a little bit on how aggressive he wants Evan to be in net. So credit to him for being flexible. But yeah, I think it was just a little bit of, this is what I want to come in here and try, and it hasn't worked. And so now here we are. I think it would have been a bad move to switch after the first match, so give it time, and it seems like he's been a little more adaptive so far. But we've had one solid match so far, so we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, that was kind of I get sticking to your guns and just, hey, we're going for broke, baby. This is the system, love it or leave it. And it's been bad so far. But obviously you also need to figure things out. And I'm not saying he's I was never saying he wasn't qualified, he wasn't a bad coach. What I was saying was, it seemed like he was, like you said, naive to try that. Obviously, without the physical means, it's kind of like, trying to go with a single striker system with Antoine Griezmann, like Barcelona did, when he sucks as a standalone striker. Everybody knows that. He's good as a partnership. It's the same thing. It's, trying to have Robert Lewandowski as a center back. Those are certain things you don't do when you don't try to go play with width on a baseball field. It's just kind of weird. So
I think that also part of it may have been, had we had a more, I guess, athletic backline, that could have been helpful too. And I think that
nice way of saying our backline's really old, dude.
that was my key was,
and that's true, yeah.
And we saw this with San Antonio last year at the start of the year. They didn't have this. They were big, they were physical, but if you're going to run a back three, you need that, maybe still physical because San Antonio still kept the physicality, but you need that athletic or quicker center backs. And let's be honest with you,
right.
So
you know what Yuma's really good at? You know what he's really good at? And this is at all compliment, getting away with red card offenses. He's amazing at it. He does it every match. He's unbelievable at it. He's like the Hector Herrera of the USL Championship. It's amazing. Just choke a guy, the other guy gets a red card. That's the Yuma special. It's great. It's awesome. You love
the thing is, so in those first couple of matches, Yuma's not even starting. He didn't get his first minutes until into the Vegas match, I think.
Right.
But I think the problem is Hutch didn't necessarily know what he was working with because our offseason was really shaky as far as players arriving from overseas and stuff. So
even Hutch arrived late too, just visa issues, and I know he got hired before the holidays, but he stayed at Australia or New Zealand. I forget which one. Australia.
Yeah, Australia.
He stayed in Australia.
I was going to say, do not mistake those two. Do not.
Well, I was like, wait a second. Chris is from
Australia and New Zealand are two separate entities. They're not the same thing. That's like Ireland and England, dude. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But the South Pacific, we'll just say.
Yeah.
For that here. But I know he didn't come over till the new year now. I'm not saying, he wasn't doing his job or anything along those lines because we know he was. But getting used to the area, getting used to the players that were in town. So, like I said, from the start, and I know you guys mentioned it on Seriously Locomotive, or Seriously Loco, pardon me, was that he didn't get the early start, in December when he was hired, but after the new year he came in, and you guys had a loaded preseason. You guys played 7, 8, 9 friendlies.
The matches were there. The personnel was not. Our academy players actually got a lot of minutes in the preseason. We're playing a lot of academy members in the preseason.
Same.
Well, obviously El Paso knows that because the last match was.
That's correct. Yeah, that was a big. I loved how El Paso was like 7-0. This is gonna be a great season, guys. And it's like we had 3 starters actually playing that match. Our starters, we had 15 starters in street clothes sitting in the stands taking selfies the entire match. It was amazing because we're like, what is happening? And everybody on Twitter, of course, San Antonio FC Twitter, known for freakouts, Harry, and panicking, Harry, just saying what's going on? What is happening? It's like, go look at Instagram. All the players are taking pictures of themselves. It's all the kids playing. Don't even worry about it. This one doesn't count. Obviously, Marcina's going into the season saying, everybody knows what to do. I don't want to get anybody hurt. And that still didn't work because we were still freaking hurt to start the season. But injury bug, what are you going to do?
So I will say to me, this is the first test. And I don't mean any disrespect to Monterey Bay. But they're an expansion team. They're very thin on the roster. They're dealing with injuries. They haven't played at home on the road. They also got beat in Open Cup. So, they were doing lots of travel. To me, it was that perfect recipe, for El Paso coming back home. They got the goal early. They were able to get that second goal, had the red card, which was a valid red card. And I know you guys have said on the show, and, I think everybody else agrees, red card didn't change how that game ended. It may not have been 5-0, but it may have been 3-4-0 as well. To me, this will be kind of the first test for Orange County for El Paso, since probably San Diego, where you're playing a top defense, because San Diego has a pretty good defense. To see on our side if we can slow down El Paso. But to me, and this will be a question that I'll start out with you, Rafa. El Paso previously matches, their biggest bugaboo is turnovers, whether it's from the goalkeeper or from the back line trying to get to the midfield. The pressure, or actually I'll start with you, Christian. Your thoughts on limiting the turnovers? Because if you turn over against San Antonio, they're a quick strike team, and they will try to capitalize on that. So your thoughts on that transition from the defense? Because we know once you get past the midfield offensively, you've got 13 goals, but you've also allowed 13 goals as well.
Yeah, I think they'll be aware of that. I mean, most of the games that we have lost have been, well, I'd say all of the games we have lost have been because we were punished on those turnovers. Almost to a point where we're kind of unlucky in the sense that every mistake that we've made, we've gotten punished for. Obviously, don't make mistakes and that won't happen. But I think it is, you do draw the short straw with not getting cut any slack over a course of 4 games. But yeah, I think that'll be the message that has been being preached, since the beginning of the season. It is controlling that. I think that if the back four stays the same as it was against Monterrey, I don't think it'll be a problem. I think that is the best combination of 4 players that we can put back there, with Fox and Yuma in the center. Our most experienced, compared to what we had before. We had Payares in the first match, and Eguiluz had been in there with Yuma or Fox or Boehner in the other 3 matches too. So there has been a lot of shuffling, but also there was a degree of inexperience there, because I think Hutch was still trying to figure out what worked. To me, it seems like we found something that worked, and I think that it works because of the experience and the level-headedness that Yuma and Fox bring. So hopefully we stick by it, and I think that those problems will get resolved going forward.
Your thoughts on trying to slow down the El Paso offense?
I think what we need to do is like what we did this past week with OC. Really, just I think the difference between this and last year is the speed. I think we can match up with speed, and then we have an experienced back 3 that knows each other. Even though we had even though Garcia and Manley were new, but like I said, that chemistry with Tainer and Kamiri, and even with Jordan, it's there. And then I think this group of 4 defenders have really gelled quick, and last year it took us a while until finally when we decided to make those changes, it started paying off. So I think we match up. That the main thing is just keeping the ball away from, from their forwards, and pressuring them, keep on pressuring them, and let someone else try to beat us, especially from the midfield. See if they can, kind of try to score on us. But if we can shut down Lucho and also Diego, they're gonna have to find someone else to kind of get their offense going and so forth. So I think we can take care of business in the back.
Your thoughts, Royce?
I think San Antonio right now matches up really well against El Paso. Aging, kind of slow backline that can get exposed very well by a quick counter. Check. Kind of young, not so integrated forwards that a press can really take advantage of, in a midfield that's been real shaky and really showed to be shaky against against Vegas. Check. If you watch the game that I'm kind of calibrating on, I'll be honest, I didn't see the last match. I saw some of the last match. I saw the highlights at least. That didn't really tell me anything. I mean, we just talked about the OC highlights. It really didn't say anything about how the game went. But it really seems that El Paso was really susceptible to the lights press and the lights counter. That was a big thing, is they got countered a lot in that match, and they had no answer for it. Whenever they went down 3-0, they finally decided, okay, we got to go for it. We got to score. And when they went forward, they left nothing in the back, and they got exposed over and over again. That's why that match ended up, 6-5 or 5-4. It was honestly not a good match from either side, Vegas or El Paso. They both didn't really look good, but the team that comes out looking worse out of that, obviously the team that loses an ugly match like that. So, but I will say that goal from El Machete, Danny Trejo, was insane. But that's kind of what I'm going by. We'll see how Hutch's system, or I'm sorry, Hutchison's system evolves. And we'll see how stable he makes the midfield, because it just seems like the midfield is not strong right now. And I think that's because they have a lack of specific instructions. I think there's kind of when they get in gameplay, there's different things that they want to do, and it's not working together because they were really good in the forward. They're really good playing through Vegas's defense. They're terrible at absorbing any of Vegas's pressure, and that tells me that the midfield, not a healthy midfield. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, come tomorrow.
Yeah, I will say, obviously we'll see what happens, and tomorrow is tomorrow. But I think that, like you said, like you're going off of the Vegas game, which is, if that's what you've seen, that's fine. But that Vegas game is also a little bit of an anomaly because there were so many other things going on there. Diego did not play that game. He was on international duty. What else was I going to say? The different back line, that was Egeluz and Boehner. Yuma played his first minutes of, the season that game. And when he did come on, that was when things did start to change for us too. He was kind of the catalyst when he showed up too. So I think that it's just a little bit, I don't think that it's going to be the same, but we'll see.
I think for me personally, I think San Diego was and that was the game after there where you guys had a little bit of a break and kind of made some changes. And that's the reason why I was talking about the turnovers, because even against San Diego, when it was Yuma and Boehner and Bruckman and Fox as a back four, they still, especially in the first half, they turned the ball over a little bit more than what they should have. And like I said, I know it's a new system, so there's some growing pains for that here. So to me, it will be interesting to kind of see how this goes. I do think the difference between last year of El Paso and the El Paso of this year, it has to do with Luna. You can't just focus on him, and let's be honest, he's killed San Antonio every time that he's faced them. But the player that I think that's made the huge difference is Emmanuel Snoopé, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. But he's just been a killer on the opposite side, to where you can't just focus on Luna right now. You got to make sure you're focused on both. Your thoughts on the pairing of Luna and Sinope, and how much of a difference that changes, compared to the last couple of years of El Paso. And I'm not saying you guys didn't have a solid offense, but it's not to the level that you have for this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this year's offense is way more dynamic, I think, than it has been in any of the past 3 seasons. And you can see that by the fact that, we've already scored 13 goals. I think in any given year in the Lowry era, I don't think we've scored 13 goals in any sooner than 10 or 12 matches. So I think that the offense is much more dynamic. We have 8 goal scorers so far. So they're coming from all over the place. And I really liked the decision to put Luna out wide because I think it allows the team a little more freedom to decide, am I going to go right? Am I going to go left this time? I think it asks a lot more of the opposing defense on who they want to key on at any specific time. And then my final question.
Hold on. I'm going to push back on that. Not to be a jerk, but hey, if the shoe fits, right? A majority of those 13 goals are against Vegas and Monterey Bay. Obviously, the season's young, but those aren't exactly 2 of the most stout defenses in the league. And Harry was talking about turnovers. They also turned the ball over a lot against Fuego, and that led to a few of their goals. Right. But like I said, we'll see Saturday what happens. they obviously can't score. It's just the defenses they scored against haven't exactly looked great throughout the season. But man, we'll see. Any given day, El Paso, Diego Luna can take over a match, and we all know that, and that's why he's so special, and that's why he's destined for bigger things. Obviously, we'll see where he ends up going, but we'll see what happens, and we'll definitely see. And it's interesting because El Paso is an evolving team. They're not sure. Nothing is set. So we'll see what the next iteration of the Locomotive is at Toyota Field tomorrow night.
So Rafa, I have a question here for you, and then Christian, if you want to follow up, because this kind of has to do with the goalkeepers. And Robert, I can't wait to boo Newton. We're not in El Paso, so when we chip Newton, you cheer. Come on, we're not in El Paso. But Rafa, confidence of goalkeepers. Obviously, Farr has a lot of confidence. Newton, he's coming off a shutout. Was against Monterey Bay. I think everybody knows Monterey Bay is not the stiffest competition at this point here. So confidence on goalkeeping. Could that shutout help turn the tide for Newton, or you think it's still going to take a little bit more time compared to the confidence that Farr has as a goalkeeper? If you can kind of talk about that, because let's be honest, Newton has struggled this year. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, he's struggled, and I'm just kind of watching his tape. He's very insecure as well as far as that system of playing from the back, being that sweeper, playing the outside. And that affects your psyche. Me being a goalkeeping coach is that will get in your head if you're not getting success or you're allowing a lot of goals in. And then also does he have the confidence also in his defense? Because it seems as there's not much, trust in that. I know it's gonna take a while, and I'm sure later on they're gonna gel. And compared to our defense, like Art with Farr and our defense, they have that chemistry, and these guys haven't had the chemistry yet, and maybe that's why it's leading to a lot of those turnovers, and the end results are becoming that. So he's got to really learn how to manage games and just be secure as far as when he sends balls out. And I think right now I don't think he has that confidence to do those things because he's already seen the end result. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, because if the defense starts to kind of crack and start making those turnovers, he's gonna have doubt as far as stopping a lot of those shots and so forth. And you saw what Jordan did this last game. He really kind of stepped it up. He's playing, kind of thrown into fire because he just went in for Bonilla. But he's already built that confidence, and he knows he can do these things. But I think eventually, and I'm sure Christian is going to agree with this, they're going to build that chemistry later on down into the season, and they'll fix a lot of those little mistakes that won't cost them games or goals, and goals in the future.
My question to you, Christian, is if San Antonio gets that early goal, does that open the floodgates possibly?
It's always a possibility. The scoring early is disheartening. I think that to counter that, I think that one thing that this team has shown this year that is different from Lowry era teams is some fight after going down. Not that we went down or conceded a lot of early goals under Mark, just because of by nature of the way that we played by keeping the ball a lot. But I think that the few times where it did happen, if we were to go down early, you could kind of tell that, this is gonna be rough. But I think that this team has shown an ability to fight. So I'm not so much worried about that first goal. I'm more worried about the second or third goal, and being able to keep that out. But I think that something that was different about the Monterey match, and again, we keep saying it, Monterey is Monterey. So it's hard to gauge that win. But I think that the difference was the presence of Yuma there. I think that Evan was having to do a lot of the communicating with the back line, because the other center backs are not as experienced or comfortable with the defense or with that leadership role. So having Yuma there, I think he can be a little more in control of what's going on. And honestly, if I'm Evan, like what you said, Rafa, I think that I'm not so worried about my defense, knowing that I've got someone, some more experienced heads back there.
Do you think maybe Yuma could also be a liability, especially some of the stuff he's gone away? Because let's say if he gets a red card, how would that defense react to that?
He doesn't get red cards. Royce has already covered that.
Yeah, I was like, let's be honest. He's gotten, I think, 2 in the last 3 seasons. So we'll see.
Yeah, apologies for my grimaces, but the catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals just took a foul ball to the region we shall not speak of, and it. Oh, direct hit. Oh, buddy.
He needs a minute.
It's like a Ukrainian missile to a Russian ship there. Just sank it, man. Good Lord. Topical.
So Robert, I believe everybody outside of El Paso shares your opinion of Yuma, that we all hate him. He's so dirty, but I guarantee if he was on our team, we would love him just, for how he fights.
It's kind of bonkers how we're the only team with a dirty player.
Oh, it's no, insane. we got PC.
There's plenty. PC. PC's not a dirty player. He's just good for a yellow card because the refs suck. But there are plenty of dirty players throughout the league. I mean, that's not unique to Yuma. That was basically half the Austin Bold team last season. And
before they all got shipped out.
That's correct, which we happily took 2 or 3 of them, and we're happy they're on our team. No, Giouf and Fabian are the last 2 that I would think of that would be in there, but there were a certain few others, including one caught up in a cheating scandal that I would say not above board. So, yeah.
So, Christian, final thoughts on the match here for that here. I think I spoke with you. I don't think you're coming over, right? If memory serves me correct.
Unfortunately not. The holiday weekend and stuff prevents that for me. We got a break with we finally get a Copa Tejas game and a relatively close regional game on a weekend, and it has to be Easter weekend.
It's the first one. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, it's the first. Well, it's the first Saturday match for San Antonio versus El Paso. Every other one's been on a Wednesday. And that's I will so kind of
true. That's and they've been nationally televised, but on a flipping Wednesday. That's a solid point. Solid point.
So, but I'm looking forward to it here with the Copa Tejas match. I know we kind of joked a little bit with Seriously Loco about Copa Tejas being maybe some bad juju.
Yeah,
because the original winner was the Bold, and let's be honest, El Paso start has been anything but flattery. So, hopefully that continues tomorrow. But Christian, any final thoughts that you got on the game tomorrow, or just in general?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really exciting game. I hope I will obviously have to concede that it has been a very rough start for us. But I'm hoping that we're getting things turned around, because a 5-0, even that 5-0 win, I think it was most exciting for us because it was our first win. But for the most part, no one really wants to see that kind of football. I hope they come out and
speak for yourself.
I
if
think
it's my team, I am loving it. If as a neutral. Yeah, Manchester City's beating up on someone 7-0, or what? Southampton's losing another match by 9 goals. Yeah, I'm changing the channel. But if it's my team,
from a purely analytical
gasoline on the fire, let's go. Yeah.
From a purely analytical standpoint, it's much more fun, I think, especially when we have this hobby that we do of talking about these games. It's just a lot more fun to talk about when when it was a well played match. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I'm going to push back with you on that, because the first couple episodes of Seriously Loco were like major cheerleaders. Dude, we lost, but hell, we looked great, man. We scored 15 goals. So what if we gave up a whole bunch? We are scoring goals, and
we got the receipts.
Remember, I said played well, okay? No one had fun after the Fuego match. No one had fun after the Fuego match.
Yeah, I did the watch party with Phil and Mika, to be fair, and they were both. I originally went on to kind of help troll a little bit, and
but it
got to the point where you just can't pick that wound and keep picking at it. It's no fun. It was more, hey, everything will be all right. It'll be better. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah, but either way, regardless of what happens, I've got a lot of, even with the Copa Tejas rivalry and stuff, I've got a lot of respect for San Antonio. My first professional soccer matches I ever attended were actually Scorpions matches, and I know those Crocketeer tailgates are legendary. So, got nothing but respect for you guys down there, and I hope it's a really good game.
Should be fun. Supposed to be hot for that here. If you haven't noticed, San Antonio has, was it Cancer Awareness?
It's Cancer Awareness Night. They're wearing special pregame tops that they will be auctioning off. Jester Camaries was already at $150 flipping dollars like 2 hours ago. Yes, I checked. But Gigi Traore with my jersey number. No bids yet. Breaking news, there's about to be a bid in a few minutes. So, yeah.
And I actually like the kits. Much better than the black one. I'll just leave it this. If this was the home jersey, I wouldn't
Harry, it's a fantastic. Just stop. The full black, the blackout is great. Let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen.
Tanner's at 170.
Christian, what do you think about our all black jersey?
Insane.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
Oh,
thank you.
I love a blackout kit. I do.
Harry's going full Principal Skinner. Is it the children? Am I wrong? And the children are right?
No,
the children are
children
wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Rafa, your final thought? I think my voice is about ready to go out here with the allergies here.
It should be like I said, it should be a good game, and it's a good sized crowd out there, and hopefully, like the SAFC gets another win, and a couple of new pieces come in and into play, and maybe make, like I said, make a difference on this, and just looking forward to that, and then pulling double duty tonight. So, or after this, I'm going to hop in on another one in a bit after the next semifinal game. So,
yeah, the 50-50. Speaking of that, it's 107 Lakes over Plano, out in for Plano's West Texas, I guess you could still say.
Plano's Dallas area.
Oh, Dallas
and then
area.
Seven Lakes is actually
Houston,
right by where my dad used to live. Yeah, that was like a mile from there. I've been there many times in my life. Too many times because I hate that place.
About a minute to halftime there. For the 6A second semifinal for the boys for that here. But Royce, your final thoughts?
Yeah. So just leading to the game, my thoughts on the match. Stay healthy because we have a huge match on Wednesday. So yes. Huge. No offense, Christian. No offense, El Paso. I'm looking past. I'm going to go to this match. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be great. I'm going to have a great time. Wednesday is war. This is the little warm up. This is the military exercise that leads to the war that's happening on Wednesday. Dear God, I'm jacked. Let's go. Smoke the trees on 420. Make that the hashtag. Smoke the trees on 420. Let's go. Come on, SAFC.
So Easter Sunday, so we're not going to do the show on Easter morning, obviously. For that here, I asked, and they're like, "Yeah, no, not happening."
I got Easter egg hunt scheduled, my guy. Nope, not happening.
So we will try to do a show Monday or Tuesday for it because the Austin FC, the Open Cup, is a huge match for San Antonio. SAFC, don't screw up the lineup on this here. Don't play the academy. If you play the academy, oh my God.
Can you
You think
imagine?
social media is
Can you
bad?
imagine?
If they come out with a rotated lineup, just don't.
PC needs to come out of the tunnel with like Rambo war paint,
Braveheart.
like ready. Yeah.
They need to come up with a lineup to go out and kick their ass. That's all I want. I hate Austin. I want to beat their ass, and that's it.
But my final thought, there's two of them that I have here. One of the what's her name? One of the super fans of Colorado Springs. Drawing a blank on her name. Annie.
Annie. Yeah, sorry. I couldn't hit my mute button. Annie. Yeah, Annie Kaufman.
Annie, unfortunately, and it ties in with this week's match here. Unfortunately, she's came down with stage 1 of breast cancer here. So from all of us to you, Annie, I know you're the Ginny Check of Colorado Springs here, where
high praise. Yeah.
And so wish you much success on your battle here. I know everybody, all of us, and probably most of everybody in the Western Conference of USL Championship knows you and your blue wig. So number one, wish you much success. Number two, sorry for the not consistent schedule. We will get on one, I promise. But holidays and tax week, it's not a fun week, at least for me work wise, for that here. So we will be a little bit more consistent. Christian, thank you for coming on last minute. Like I said here, much appreciated for that here. And like I said here, when we go to El Paso here in July, I believe it is, because I've already got my hotel room reserved for that here. I got to reserve my hotel room for New Mexico, which is next week, so I better get on that. Much appreciated. Please give Seriously Loco a listen. They did a preview. I think it's the last half hour of the show where they really go into the San Antonio stuff. The first hour is really good as well, although they cheerlead against beating a Monterey team here. So just give it what it is for that here. But thank you, Christian. Thank you, Rafa. Thank you, Royce. Hope everybody has a great day. What's life without goals? Wednesday show, one final thought here. Wednesday show will be the high school wrap up with Rafa, me. We'll see if Coach can come on.
Game on that day, so we'll probably have to do that one.
Pardon me?
The Wednesday's game is the MLS game.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. So no, we can't do that.
We'll probably wait for the recap for that.
Okay. So we may do a high school recap in 2 weeks then. For that here. Gosh dang, we got a whole lot. What sucks about it here is AJ's got his middle school game at 6:00. So, and he's got it. They're playing it. So it's supposed to be a home game at Vail, but they're playing it at Stevens. So normally I'd just be able to take him from Vail to the game. Now he's got to go from hop on the bus, go from from Stevens back to Vail. So that's an extra 10-15 minutes. Then we get to go. So I'm going to be doing the Royce and walking into the stadium when they kick off, most likely. So.
But on Sunday, like I said, I know I'll be on the 50-50 podcast. We'll do a recap.
I don't like that, disparaging my character, saying that I should play the games or something like that. Like I have a family that barges in and I can't schedule things around like podcasts. Yeah.
He can sign off the waiver and he can come home with you and just to go straight to the game.
Well, no, Coach said in a message they sent to all parents that the players will ride the bus to and from. Wow. And I appreciate that because I grew up in rural Colorado where you bust, and being on a bus with your teammates either after a win or a loss is character building, and a lot of team bonding happens on that here. So I'm all for it here, but just bad timing. But what's life without goals? We're out of here.